Building a company in the yacht and maritime industry isn't common. Building it as a woman, even less so. Today's guest owns a boutique yacht brokerage firm, works across European partnerships, and has been part of Dubai's luxury and maritime landscape for a really long time. She's built in an industry that demands resilience, strength, and a thick skin, and she's here to talk about what it really takes. Welcome to Raw and Unseen Marketing Moves. I'm Najane, and today we're sitting down with Bianca Balfour. Hi, Bianca.
Thank you. Hi, Lulu. How are you?
All good, all good.
Good.
Right, so let's start off from the beginning. Before the maritime industry, before Dubai, before all that, who's Bianca?
Well, complicated question, but I've been here since 2002. I've been the same person. I think I've been for a very long time, but I've always been in the luxury industry. Love luxury, anything to do with, which reflects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I love anything to do with luxury, and I just love the yacht industry. I just happened to bump into it by chance. So, yeah.
Okay. Right. And throughout, like, when did you feel like this resonates with me? Like, there has to be a moment in your life where.
Yeah. So it's really funny how I got into the whole thing, actually, because it's been about 9 years that I've been in the industry. And I was looking for a job, actually. And a friend of mine suggested at the time that I sell yachts. And I said, I know nothing, because he has a friend who was the owner of a shipyard in Poland. And I said, I know nothing about yachts. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've done real estate, I've done automotive. And I said, I don't know anything about yachts. And I thought it was just far too big for me. It was just like a bit of a monster of an industry to get into. And I said, okay, because I needed something. And I thought, I can do this. I got it. And I met the owner. And we got on really well. And he hired me on the spot. And I started like a week ago. He just kind of took me on. And off I went into that journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
And throughout your life, you've had a little bit of a structure when navigating everything, right? So how does it feel to finally do your own thing and get out of sight?
It's so hard when you say that you've built a structure, because along the way, life brings you so many obstacles that your plans just goes to the pan, really, and you've got to go along with the flow, whatever it takes you, wherever it takes you. So there hasn't been a structure as such, but I've remained the same kind of person throughout. And I think that's been my main structure, my personality and my character, and the person I've always been. So I think that's been my main structure as such. And then everything else just seems to follow. And I've taken on, different roles within the luxury industry. I've worked with Bentley and McLaren. I've worked with real estate as well. When Business Bay was coming up, I was a sales manager for Business Bay at the time. We're talking about back in 2005. Wow. So I've just been in so many, mall manager as well for Bin Hindi Avenue at the time when it was in city center. So I've been in so many different fields, which has kind of shaped you as well. So there's no structure as such, but just kind of like taking on the next challenge, whatever it brings along, and overcoming it and conquering it, shall we say.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been here since 2002, right?
Yeah.
So you've actually witnessed the evolution.
Yeah.
Everything that was going on.
Yeah.
How did that shape you? And what was your take on it?
When I first came to Dubai, I came with a suitcase and no job. Just with a friend of mine said, you should come to Dubai, you will love it here. And I was living in London at the time. And
Wow.
I kind of got bored of London, and I just needed the change. And I'm a very curious person by nature. I love questioning everything. And I wanted to make my own opinion about this place called UAE, which really nobody at the time knew much about it. They just knew it was like in the Middle East, and people were saying it's dangerous. And, I like to make my own opinion about things. I'll value your opinion, but I want to make my own. It's like, trying some kind of food, you've got to try it. Maybe you'll like it.
Yes, true.
So I came with no job, no nothing. And I stayed for 3 months, and I was about to go back. And I was offered the job of sales marketing manager for a furniture company. And but it's just, Dubai's changed so much, but I loved the way it used to be. I'm a bit of a traditionalist as such. And I just wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle of it all and the noise, like in London. And I just wanted to try something different culture. And I wanted to integrate me part of that. And I loved Take Me Back 23 years ago anytime. But it's changed so much, and it's just such a fast pace, and you've got to keep up with it. And sometimes it is a little bit hard. I think maybe it's just a human nature, but it takes a bit of time, and the adjustment has been a lot as well. But it's been quite fascinating to watch the whole change happen right before your eyes, and also you change.
Yeah.
But you change at a speed where you have to keep up with it, and you have to absorb, all of that. But it's been interesting. But it's a journey.
It is.
It's a journey. It's a relationship. It's for me, being in Dubai is like a relationship. So it's been an interesting journey.
Right. I mean,
but I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the fantastic.
Everything.
Surely I wish that some things hadn't happened, but you've got to embrace the change.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so Brazil, Scotland, London, and then
so
Dubai.
I'm Brazilian, and then we finished. My father, my stepfather, he was English, Scottish. So when we used to go to British school in Brazil, so that's why I've been speaking English since I was like 4 or 5 years old. Then I went to girls' school in Scotland, and I just never quite fit into that whole. I didn't fit into the culture. I didn't fit into anything. I felt very kind of lost and out of place. And then I decided to move to London, where I thought I would fit in more, which I did, of course. I'm a bit of an extrovert, a little bit.
I see.
Yeah, you see. I think London suited me better. And I've been in different industries, like I said. So when I was 19, I was selling cars, which I think that was really the defining point for me in establishing who I am today. And you just go through so much, but I wouldn't change anything. Like I've said before, you've got to embrace the changes, and it is what it is, and it was what it was. You embrace it, and this is who you are today. And I'm grateful for how I am today.
Yeah,
it's all good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and you've seen how, like, let's talk a little bit about the marketing aspect of it. So you've seen how the marketing is evolving nowadays, how they're all just turning into the AI direction and all that. Yeah. So what do you think, like, what's your take on that? Like, how do you see
I've got a complicated relationship with this whole AI thing. Like I said, I'm very much a traditional person. I like the interaction of a human being.
True.
I want to talk to somebody, like even on the phone, when you call, a certain service and you get the automated service, and I can't stand it. You want to wind me up, you put me on, please hold, and you've got press one for this, press. You just want to talk to somebody. Yeah. So I do like that kind of hands-on, like shopping experience. I like the personal shopping experience where you go in physically, touch, and it's tangible. You want to feel it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bit like the phone. It gives you so much good stuff, but it does take away a lot.
True.
So you've got to have a balance. But I think we're in such a stage where the balance is not really there, because we're allowing, the smartphone or the everything AI to be smarter than people, and kind of taking over, whether it's jobs, whether it's, even like CVs now are getting reviewed by AI, and I think that's wrong.
True.
So it kind of, I struggle with that a little bit, but I do prefer the personal interaction.
True. I mean, the more we kind of evolve and go towards the AI, the more people are hungry for human connection and true stories and like seeing actual people do the work.
And I get concerned about the next generation, because it's even the generation now. It's not the way you're a newer generation than I am. It was, things were simpler. It was more, we were connected, and people don't talk to each other anymore. So we're going to be losing that, I think, within time. And I feel sorry for the next generation, which won't have so many things that we used to have before in the past, which is so important for us to develop ourselves as a person. Otherwise, you just become just a body with nothing there. I think we need to have that interaction with people. We must not lose that. True.
Very true.
So I struggle a little bit with the whole AI. I don't love it, to tell you the truth. I don't love I love technology. It's great if it's used for the good.
Yeah.
But it can be used for the not so good, which
Yeah.
is
I mean, as long as it's actually helping in like saving time and automations that are useful, that's fine. But
Yeah.
once it replaces the mind and soul, it's just.
but
does
it is
not-
replacing,
Yeah,
right? It is
it doesn't
replacing,
make sense,
and
honestly.
that's sad.
Yeah, true.
That's
Very true.
it's sad.
True. And so, owning a company like that's bold, right? Owning a company in the maritime business
Yeah.
or industry, that's like
Yeah.
wow.
Well, it's like I wasn't working at the time, and I was just finishing the previous company I was with, and I was kind of more pushed into it. I was looking for jobs and things like this, and I thought, let's just do this. Let's just do this because Lulu, there's never the right time for anything.
Oh, okay.
You've got to make the right time for things. You've got to make the right time.
understand.
You've just got to live in the moment. You've got to live today because tomorrow's not guaranteed. The next day's not guaranteed. So if you're going to ask me, in future, what am I, don't go there. But you've got to do things. And I just thought, let's just do this. And I had already built a relationship with one of the companies that I represent now exclusively in the UAE, which is fantastic. And it's Omaya Yachts. They're a luxury like catamaran. At the moment, they're doing the 50-foot. But then they're going to be bringing in bigger 80-foots, which will be very, very exciting. So I met, I've been talking with the owner of this company for the past year, and we've built a really good relationship and understanding. And, really he could have gone to anybody. Didn't have to come to me, little me, and they decided that they will come with me because they liked the way that I spoke, the way that my vision was for their company, and the kind of person that I am. So a lot of talks, and they said, you know what, it's not about the money. Not everything is about the money, which is not the case, nowadays. But they're not interested in the money. It's more about who's going to represent them in the way that they want it represented. And so I felt really, really honored for that. So that felt great, just with so many other brokerage firms in the UAE, in the Middle East, to be representing them. It's a great thing for me. I feel very, very pleased. And also I'm working on, which should have been signed last week, but hopefully, inshallah, will be signed this week. With another company. It's a Polish company, so it's different. So what I did, I chose companies handpicked, and I saw this company in Cannes last year, and I fell in love with their boat. It's a W43, beautiful, fantastic. Loved the finishing, loved the quality. Having worked in shipyards before, you know how to spot the right and what's right and what's wrong. And I just loved everything about it. And again, been speaking to them for the past year, and I've been hammering them that I want it because I really believe in it, So the companies that I've chosen are handpicked, and I believe in what they represent, what they stand for, and I like the owners, the way they think, and the relationship that we now have as well. And I've also, we're also providing other services as well within the industry. Like I have an independent surveyor now on board, Mr. Ian Biles. He's amazing. He's also my mentor for the industry. Nice. So whenever he's my go-to person, and he kind of keeps me sane when things are not going so great. And he advises me on so many things. So he owns a company called MTI, which is the MTA, which is the Maritime Training Academy. They offer courses, various courses, diplomas and certificates within the industry. So whatever your specialty, they have a course for that. And I met them about 6 years ago when I did my yacht brokerage diploma course with them, which takes about a year and a half to complete. I did it a little bit less. So I've got my diploma from them. And I really thought, what, we need this here. So I'm now working in collaboration with them here to bring their services here, which is fantastic. So he's my surveyor also, Ian Biles. And so he surveys, he's been in the industry for about 45 years. He surveys super yachts. So if anybody has a super yacht or just, a yacht in general, he can do the survey for you, bring his team over and get it done. Wow. So, yeah. And I'm working on a couple of other services that I want to provide as well.
Perfect. You're actually like, you're starting off real strong. You're fearless, and you're you're just, I mean,
yes, I show that I'm fearless, but it's like,
I wanna
it's
get
a
there.
process, Lou. It's a process.
yeah, I know. I mean, as a woman in business, what were the hardest rooms you had to walk into?
Misogynist rooms,
Yeah.
and toxic people rooms, basically. Otherwise, I can handle myself in any situation. But I think when people just automatically disrespect you for being a woman, doing, let's say here it's seen as more of a male industry,
Yeah.
and they don't kind of value your opinion or the fact that you know something that maybe they don't, poses an instant dislike towards you.
Yeah.
But I'm used to it, so it's okay. I don't need people to like me, but I do need people to respect
Yeah.
you for what you do and what you put in the table, especially when you work for them. So I think misogynism, but I am quite thick-skinned. Don't care, and you've got to learn kind of to brush it. You have to learn how to brush it off and just not give a fig about it.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But it takes
Because otherwise you're in the wrong industry.
True.
I've never been quite like a soft person, because I think, life experience and situations that you're put in, you have to toughen up. Otherwise you just get swallowed.
True.
And you either have to just keep on walking and move along with it, or you shrivel. And shriveling was never an option.
True.
So you've got to be fearless. You've got to be not afraid, because there is nothing to be afraid.
Yeah.
We put this thing in our mind. The fear is there,
Yeah.
and you're afraid of the fear,
Yeah, true.
which doesn't make sense. Just go for it. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Who cares? You tried. Try again.
Yeah.
Maybe the same thing or something else. Doesn't matter. But you've got to be kind of stand your ground and yay,
Yeah.
be like Xena warrior
I mean,
or
yeah.
something like that. Anyway,
But I want to circle back to how Dubai has helped you in as like being a woman in business. I mean, it's portrayed like the Western world always kind of, portrays the entire Middle East as
Yeah.
like a place that women cannot even work.
yeah.
So how would you you've lived here?
So being a woman, it's easier for me to say this. There's so many aspects of being here that facilitates your life.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the female queue or whether you're shown respect, or you go somewhere and you're seen to first, that's great, because everywhere else you're just one of everybody, and here you don't have that. So they have a little bit more sensitivity, let's say, to that, a bit more delicate. And I think people in the Western world, they've always thought women don't have such a voice, or they have a very silent power. They do have, especially the Emirati women, they have a silent power where they are powerful.
True.
Because, like they say, behind every great man is a great woman.
Yes.
And I really do believe that, actually,
agree.
because if you have like an unsavory person behind that man, it's nothing's gonna work. And Dubai has proven to be so successful, and you've got ministers here, which are women, and you've got business women, very powerful women as well. So the opportunity is there for everyone. It's how it's how you perceive yourself. But the perception is on the person. It's not so much on the country. So this is for the taking. Whoever wants to do something here, they can do.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I think nothing's easy whenever you go to set up something yourself,
True.
especially when you're, let's say, in a foreign country or in a Middle East country where everything, let's say, it's in Arabic and you don't understand Arabic, but you get translated, whatever the case is. But I think it's for everybody.
True.
Yeah, but you've got to perceive yourself as a certain kind of person for people to respect that. You know,
It's how you carry yourself.
It's how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you dress. It's everything. You know. Yeah, and I think the not judging part is really important.
The not judging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do that? No.
I think every foreigner that once came to Dubai, and they didn't know anything about it, they do judge.
Okay.
And if you say you don't judge, you're lying.
Of
You know,
course.
wherever we go,
Yes.
whatever we do,
Yes.
whatever situation, whatever room we go in, and we automatically make a decision about the place.
Yes.
But I've always been, like I said to you, very curious, and I question everything. I like to question everything. And it's very important that you have people around you that you can ask questions that won't feel offended. So I'm not one to kind of like fluff around my questions. I'm very direct. So, you know, I found myself a couple of extremely good friends when I first came here. And I just want to know why this, why everything. Why do you wear what you wear? What is that called? What do you wear? What do you wear underneath? You know, why? I want to know everything. So once you have the knowledge of, you've got all your curiosities, let's say, answered, you begin to understand, you know, why do you marry? Why do you have so many wives? Why? And then you and they explain to you. And when they explain to you, it almost makes sense in a way.
I get it.
Although it's very different from your own culture and the way that you've been brought up and your beliefs all along. But, you know, I remain true to my culture, well, not my culture, but I remain true to my faith, to myself. I know what I think is right and wrong. And if somebody wants to do something different because it's their culture, it's their faith, then I'm fine with it. You know, everybody's different. The great thing about the world is that every country is different.
True.
You know, and you have to be accepting. Once you accept, then you can do a lot of things. You know, the doors will open for you. But the moment you start judging, the moment you start criticizing, the moment you start thinking, well, it's not the way that it should be, and it's not the way that then you're in the wrong place. You know, but the moment you embrace the differences between different cultures, then you can adapt.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, like I honestly think when you step into a new place, everything inside your body shifts. Like even your perception of yourself, your perception of the world, perception of what you want and what you value in the world, everything shifts. And you should just give yourself the space to evolve and the space to shift. And then maybe you could make up your mind about
and you
everything.
Grow.
Yes,
you grow,
exactly.
you mature, you know, you have the knowledge of different things. And when it comes to when you're going somewhere else and you have that knowledge, you can contribute to the conversation to say, you know what, no, it isn't like this. Because if somebody says, oh, they are like this, you say, no, they're not. It's like this. Because you then have the knowledge of what it really is like, you know, firsthand. Always get your information firsthand. I love that because everybody's experience is different. So it makes you mature. It grows. You grow and you become wiser.
So what's like you've been between different countries, different cultures and all that. You must have evolved like 1,000 times in your own lifespan. So what's one thing that you've had to unlearn about yourself?
I don't think unlearn because you know, you go through the things that you go through and it stays with you. So you can never quite remove that. You can't remove what you've learned and what you've seen, what you've been through, but you do add. You add on to the things. It's like a building, let's say, and you're adding on, and you just become stronger when you build bigger, better, stronger, the foundations. It's just made me a better person.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better in understanding people when I talk to them. Better dealing with, you know, I can deal with anybody from the cleaners to the sheikh, you know, and you have that ability, that skill of the knowledge of dealing with different kinds of people. I think that's really that's been really important, and thanks to my career and personal development as well.
It's rich, actually. I mean,
and I welcome all of that, and it's all good. Whatever, you know, I like learning things. I'm like you could be like a sponge. I'm like a sponge. I just want to know everything, you know.
Well, that's perfect.
But add the sense of humor to it to keep you sane. Yeah. Because everything gets too serious.
True. Very
true.
Don't
let things get too serious.
That's very true.
Because then it will kind of, you know, break you a little and demotivate you. But yeah, it's all of that.
And like you've had your fair share of challenges and all that. Like you've been through obviously a lot. So have you ever felt like, have you ever questioned your choices and paused for a minute and asked yourself, is it worth it?
I think we always question ourselves. If things are worth it, I don't know. But you've got to think, what's the alternative? And I go back to my faith a lot because that's where that's my go-to, like for recharge, you know, like when you get your phone, you use it a little time and then you put it back in the base for recharge. and I use my faith a lot, and that's come into play extremely. It's been played such an important role for me, I think, to keep my sanity and to keep going and not to be discouraged. So don't let yourself be discouraged. Always find that go back to place and find the right people as well to keep you motivated, and the support as well.
True. And when you say support and motivation, I mean, especially for women in business, when we say support and motivation, how does that look like to you? Like, I mean, we're never going to be able to remove challenges, but we're going to have to maybe, provide the tools necessary. How do you see that?
I'm not a big believer in women empowerment.
Oh,
I'm not.
Why?
I'm not a big I'm not a feminist. I will say this.
Okay.
I'm not a big believer of women empowerment, but I do believe that women can empower. And in my experience, I'll give an example. I'll give you 2 examples. You being one of them. The fact that you empower without you probably realizing it. The fact that I'm sitting here on your podcast and having this platform, that's you empowering me, which a lot of people, they don't. So that's huge for me. So I am grateful for that. So that's my experience of a woman empowerment. And also, I must say, Lara Tabet.
Yes.
She's also very much,
of course.
She's great. I mean, I've known this girl for like 23 years. And, she's just solid. She's just consistent. From the moment that I've met her till today, she's been the same person. Just she's a beautiful person. So I think she provides a huge platform for women, on such a huge scale. And I don't think she quite realized it, but she does. So all the events that she invites me to, that I go to, that I attend, it's all about women empowerment, because there's hardly any men. It's mainly women.
Yes, true.
And she gives people that platform. And I'll give an example. I love her so much. I'll give an example. In the last event that we went to, that I saw you there.
Yeah.
It was about fashion.
Yes.
And the models displaying, on the catwalk. And then she was on stage. She was emceeing, as you know, and she brought up some of the people that she wanted to bring attention to.
Very true. And she was like supporting their businesses.
Exactly. And extremely unexpected, she calls my name. And I was just floored. She floored me when she called me. I'm thinking, oh my God. She didn't have to, but she did.
She wanted
so
to.
For me, that's huge empowerment that she's given me. She gives the platform, which is so amazing for so many women. She does that too. And for me, she's the biggest woman empowerment leader, if that's the right word, empowerment, that I can think of, because she gives you the platform. She wants you to be seen. She wants to promote you. She's rooting for you. She really roots for you. So for me, she's a great example of empowerment. And then obviously you've got to find also different people as well within your life, your friends. Not so many people, but for me, I choose 1 or 2, and they're locals that I go to for support. All my friends are locals.
That's
men.
really
I have
nice.
to say that they are men mainly.
That's fine. It's fine.
I don't have many women friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't know why. I do know why, but I don't. So most of them are men, and they support me a lot, which is for me really, really important. And I've known them for years, so I go to them for a bit of reassurance whenever you feel a bit down. But the empowerment thing, I think, Lara, yourself, you guys are doing a lot, and you don't realize it, but you are. Because I can't imagine myself, somebody else inviting me to go to their podcast, and you have. So I appreciate that. Gratitude is everything, and I'm so thankful.
Thank you. And so when it comes to the systems, countries and systems and companies and firms and all that, what are the tools, or what do you think should happen so that women could be more supported in building their businesses?
I think everybody's so different. There are so many different characters, different cultures, different personalities. All depends what they want to do with themselves. I've always chosen the hard route all the time, the most difficult road, which has always been the male industry, whether it's been automotive, and now this. So for me, I just want to, it's like I almost want to prove to myself that I can do things. I want to push myself. What can I do? you know.
Yeah.
I can't do the smaller things because I want to push myself to do something greater, which I think, wow, this is great. I want to do that.
Yeah.
But I think it depends on the personality of the person.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do what you do because, to be there on the camera, so many people are shy, and some are very extrovert and introvert. So it all depends. So it depends what the person wants to do. But whatever it is that you want to do, make sure that you know what you're doing, or you go and learn along, as you go along. But find a passion for it. You've got to really love whatever you do. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy it.
True. But some people struggle with that. Like some people don't have this one thing that they're willing to put in the effort and time.
Then they're in the wrong. They're doing the wrong thing, because once you love it, you just do it without realizing the time.
Yeah.
When I remember when I used to sell cars a very long time ago, and over the weekend we used to have one day off, and I didn't want the weekend. I wanted to be back. I wanted to be Monday, because I loved doing what I was doing, and I used to go on my days off as well. So you've got to really love what you do.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want the day. I didn't want the weekend to come.
Yeah.
But I think when you love what you do, time is just so irrelevant. When I opened up the company, beginning of December, I was working till like 2-3 in the morning, and I was wide awake. I was like electric. I was wide awake,
okay.
but and I didn't realize at the time. I'm thinking I have to sleep, and I just didn't feel tired because the mind is obviously overflowing and overworking. But you've got to like what you do. At least like what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
If you don't know what you want to do, that's okay, as long as you know what you don't want to do.
Yeah, I agree. Like that's a good start.
Yeah, as long as you know what you don't want.
Yeah.
And everything else will follow. And we don't need to know. We don't need to know things. We just I'll do something in 10 years' time which is totally irrelevant to this field.
Oh.
Just you never know, right? You just don't know. Life is unpredictable. It throws things at you. But it is what it is. So I'm doing this at the moment, which I love.
And that's
which
beautiful.
I enjoy. Yeah.
And what's next for BB Yachts? Like what do you have in line for your firm at this point?
At the moment, I'm still setting it up. On the finalization of setting it up, and just basically, I want to promote the brands that I represent that they've entrusted me with to the UAE, to the GCC, and have the support. Obviously, because there are so many people, a lot of the Arabs, a lot of the royal families, they love yachting, they love boats, they love all that. So to have their support, I think is really important. Not just supporting a woman, but supporting what I'm doing. And I think that would be great. That would be great. And it will just show everybody that whatever they thought before was just completely wrong.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. Actually, it would be I would love to see this grow. Like I would love to see where this is going, and every time you're going to unlock a new level in this firm, I'm just going to be like super excited for what's next, because you're building it from ground up, and you're like, as you said, you just started it off with just a belief. Like you just believed that you'll do it and you can do it. And then you just took it from there. And I
like the challenge. I think I like to do something that nobody really does very often. One of those rare little things, just standing out. I don't need to stand out wearing certain clothing, but I do like standing out for the right reasons.
True.
Whether it's vocal with my opinions, which I am, or whether it is for what I'm doing, So I like that kind of attention. That's the only kind of attention that I like.
That's beautiful. Like to be loud in the room without actually being loud in the room. Yeah, that's beautiful. Right. And for women out there that are too shy or too scared to start their business, but they have like an idea, but they keep on, putting it on hold for so many reasons. What would you tell them?
What would I tell them?
Yeah.
There's never a right time. There just isn't a right time. But, nothing's guaranteed. There's nothing for sure. But just take the chance, because otherwise you risk not doing something that could work out, because we have this fear. We put this fear again in our mind, which really blocks us and stops us from doing so many things, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, it stops us.
True.
It's the mindset that really stops us and the way that we're thinking. And it's that little voice which we need to just slap it out of our minds, and just think, just think positive and just think, you know what, I'm going to do this. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, so what? So what? But you tried, you have to try. And, like I said, different personalities, different roles. But I think people need to start overcoming their fears and use their talent to something good and something positive. Because nowadays people are just wasting a lot of the talent on doing very shallow, superficial things.
Yeah.
I like something more substantial and,
True.
something more meaningful.
I mean, I understand, but like from the outside, your experiences in the luxury industry and all that is like super shiny and super glamorous and all that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I get it. But then you're the person who's been through it all. Right? So what did it take away from you? What did it cost you? Yeah, if you don't want to answer the question, that's fine.
It's a lot of soul searching, I think. I think what it cost you, or what it could cost you if you don't, it takes a lot from you, but it can be very rewarding in other ways, as long as you're persistent and you believe in what you're doing. But don't let it cost you something which shouldn't cost you. You've got to really, and you've got to be strong for that. And like I said to you, I go back to my faith a lot for kind of restoring myself to being that whole person, and to gather, get yourself in a place where you gather your thoughts and you're like, okay, now I'm good. I'm ready to face the world again. And the world will break you a little bit and it will chip at you, and somebody will be nasty. Somebody will be unpleasant. There will always be that kind of person that tries to break you or bring you down. You just don't allow it, because these people, they don't matter. You just don't let them. Because you just got to learn how to just not give a shoot.
Yeah, I mean, true. But also you have to accept that there are always trade-offs. Right? I mean, yeah, you're not going to lose yourself to it, but there has to be like some trade-offs when you're building yourself, or when you're going out there, putting yourself out there. There has to be some trade-offs. So,
but you have to go through that. It's a journey, right? It's a journey. So don't expect whatever you're doing to go smooth. It's a journey. So you've got to embrace the whole thing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You just get through it. Get through it. Once you get through that storm, there's always a sun that comes out of the storm, So just get through it and just be focused. And just think it's not going to be forever, whatever it is. The good times are never going to be forever. The bad times not going to be forever. It all shall pass. So you just get on with it. Just get on with it. But you've got to do it. But the fear stops us. But just do it. And then you'll be surprised how many people will support you. On when the whole women empowerment thing.
I mean,
how many people will support you,
Yes, I mean, true. And actually, it takes one person to believe in you. I believe that. It takes one person to tell you the right thing or the right word, and then everything else falls in place eventually.
And you never know who you're going to meet, because everybody that you meet along your journey will either learn from them or they'll add on to you, So, and whatever it is, you just build yourself, keep building yourself, and you become wiser, and you can give your opinions, your views to different people who they need it, And I think that's really important. And they need to hear things that, but they need to speak to somebody who's been through it as well. I think. Just don't be afraid. And it does say in the Bible, I will say this, it does say, don't be afraid. I don't know how many times. So I think that that's one of the things that's made me not be afraid, because we're just people, just situations. Nothing is forever. Just remember that. Bad things are not forever, and good things are there to come. Just do what you think is right, and just get on with it. But you've got to give it a try.
I mean, true.
So that's what I'm doing.
Yes, and I'm so we're all just here supporting you from the bottom of our hearts.
Oh, thank you.
We're rooting for you.
Yes, that's very important. It's very important, and I hope it will be successful. But we'll see what it will bring. It's interesting times. But you have to try.
I mean, exactly. You just have to make up your own mind about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll learn along the way. You'll grow along the way. You know, I'm always learning, always evolving. And I think it's important for you as a personal growth and professional growth as well. So, yeah.
One last thing before we go. What's your favorite quotation? And it doesn't have to be like from some kind of a novel or anything, just like a person from like anywhere.
There's quite a few, but if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got.
Oh, okay.
So if you're doing the same thing again and again and you expect different results, it's not going to happen. You've got to change.
Yeah.
Even if you change, you know, what's funny, I was driving along Sheikh Zayed Road and I saw it was DP World that had change what you can or something. That's a little slogan. And I thought, that is right. Change what you can, because we can't change everything. External factors are there, you know, but whatever you can do, do it. Even if you make one little change per day, do something that you're afraid of every day, just for you to overcome that.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
True. Oh, that's beautiful.
And who will like you will like you, and who doesn't. And it's okay.
You don't have to be liked, I think. You just have to be genuine. But
Just be yourself. You know, it's just out there. It's just so exhausting that I'm drained from all that goes on, you know, social media and the whole thing of the perception, what is beautiful, what is perfect, what you should be wearing, what you should be looking like, what you should, it's exhausting. And not interested in any of that. Not interested. So I think if you be genuine to yourself and true to yourself, everything will just work out.
Yeah, that's
true. And you surround yourself with the right people.
Yes.
Very important.
That's
right people who will always kind of, you know, boost you and support you and make you feel good that you're doing the right thing.
Inspire you, honestly.
Yeah. Find the right person.
Yeah.
But they've got to be the right people, because if you speak to one person and they're not in the right, then it will just drag you down.
True.
And it will make you question yourself all over again.
True.
So,
true.
Ignore the noise, ignore the negativity, and just, you know, get on with it. Yeah.
Bianca, what I love and admire the most about your story is that it's not polished, it's earned. And it's a proof that resilience isn't just, you know, a practice. It's consistency. It's not just loud, it's real work. And thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Thank you.
And I loved having you, honestly.
And always be yourself. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
Always be yourself, no matter what.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lulu.
Of course.
Thank you.
And to anyone listening, if today's conversation teaches us anything, it's this. You don't have to wait for permission to enter the room, but once you're there, you better be ready to stand your ground. This is Jane, and you've been listening to Raw and Unseen Marketing Moves. See you next week.